If we look into Myanmar, the country seems to be moving toward peace and democracy with the recent reforms, by-election and ceasefire agreement with ethnic minorities. However, when we look deep down inside, situation on the ground in many areas in the country is different than what some people, especially international investors, expect. For example, in the northern Kachin state border with China, fighting between Kachin Independence Army or KIA and the Burmese military is still taking place. The ceasefire agreement between both parties broke down on June 9, 2011. Since then, the regime has deployed about 25% of its troops to the Kachin state to escalate the war with Kachin Independence Army. Main causes of the clashes between both sides are Burmese government forced the KIA to become border guard force under the regime's army. Burmese government wants also to control natural resources. The Burmese government and the KIA start clash over China's Dapian Dam. The fighting leads to human rights violation, land confiscation, forced relocation, extortion, rape, intimidation, and thousands of displaced people, as stated by Norla from Kachin Development Network Group. People who are likely to suffer the most from the fighting are the ones who are unable to speak out their pain, women and children. Women are raped and tortured, children lost their education and their future.
My organization, Kachin Women Association Thailand, we've been documented 49 rape and sexual assault case, and there was 21 who were dying after the rape, and I can and one example that is very recent. Happened that on 1st May, there was 48 years old grandmother. She got again raped and also torture and beaten. So now she has mentally diseased.
June 9, 2012 marks 1-year anniversary of renewed fighting after 17 years of ceasefire agreement. Several activities have been carried out to commemorate the occasion, such as a protest in front of Myanmar Embassy in Thailand, a letter to President Tangmeesang and the United Nations, as well as a press conference. In a press conference, Kachin representatives called for a halt of human rights violations by the regime and a political dialogue between the government and Kachin Independent Organization.
What Kachin want is, the political dialogue. What Kachin want is actually Kachin also we can negotiate, ceasefire. But the ceasefire is for political dialogue. So political dialogue must be immediately followed after ceasefire. But the government is not. Government would like to solve, the political problem through 2008 Constitution. It means the government parliament. So Kachin people rejected. KIA also rejected. What the Kachin people believe is a political problem is rooted, the neglect of the 1947 Panglong Agreement. That's why you have to beat we have to solve, the political problem on the basis of the Panglong Agreement, not 2008 Constitution, not government parliament.
Norla, a representative from Kachin Development Network Group, also proposed solutions to this ongoing conflict in the state. Firstly, he calls for a political resolution. Secondly, he stated large-scale development projects such as coal mining, jade mining and logging should not be implemented in conflict zones as it would exacerbate the situation. Finally, the development projects should be transparent with local engagement. One interesting point from the representatives is that they demand the intervention of the United Nations to solve the problem, instead of putting hope on Myanmar pro-democracy icon Aung San Suu Kyi. One panelist said Suu Kyi has been there for 20 years, but she still could not solve the problem.
Aung San Suu Kyi, actually in the past 20 years, every, Western government and the European, country, international community, they support Suu Kyi for 20 years. At the time, they cannot solve the problem. So that's why currently the Kachin totally believe is only We don't have another option, only UN intervention.
The path toward democracy for Myanmar is perhaps not rosy. There will be much work for every party, the government, Aung San Suu Kyi or ethnic minorities in order to achieve national reconciliation. Onravee Tangmeesang reporting for ASEAN Newsroom.